Ringo looking towards Odegaard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello, welcome to the Rotherham United podcast. We have a 3-0 win to talk about against Derby County from Wednesday night, and then we are ahead to another Saturday game against Preston North End. It's been an interesting few days for Rotherham United, to put it mildly. So we will cover as much of that as we possibly can, and like to look ahead to it's going to be a busier weekend and potentially week further ahead as well. We have Mick in the top left of the screen and Ben at the bottom.
Hello.
How are we all?
It's very helpful for all the podcast listeners that to make sure they know where we are.
Well,
on the
I
screen.
suppose, yeah. I mean, if anybody's interested, Ben is in the top left of my screen, and Mike is in the top left of my screen. Sorry. And Ben is below the both of us. So anybody that's interested in the setup, I'm sure you're not. But thanks. Anyway, so where the hell would you like to start? Because there's about 5 different things to talk about that aren't even involving the game itself.
Yeah. In the last podcast, we were talking along nicely about what we're going to happen about Derby and blah, 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 blah. I recall Ben saying, "Hey, up, you need to just hang on a minute because it might not even be on. It's going to snow tomorrow."
Yeah, very true.
So good call, Ben. I'm impressed with that. Yeah, I think we need to start perhaps on Tuesday night, don't we?
Yeah. So it got to basically 5:30 local time. Everybody's not listening in the UK. Got to 5:30 for a 7 o'clock kickoff, and there was murmurings that although it stopped snowing much earlier in the day, because there had been a lot of snow on the pitch and a lot of people on the pitch that had caused issues with the ground, and then we had this giant downpour of rain. And I'm no expert on grass, but something to do with the water couldn't soak into the grass. So it then caused standing water all over the pitch. And the teams had been announced, so it must have been, 6:10, something like that.
Yeah.
The game was postponed, much to the dismay of, not necessarily Derby County Football Club, but definitely to the dismay of Derby County fans.
Some of them, yeah.
Most of them.
Total meltdown from some of them, weren't it?
They were brilliant.
So yeah, I mean, it was more entertaining than had the game gone ahead on Tuesday night. Just being on Twitter, I have no idea what any of the other social media was like, but Twitter was it was a joy. There are times when Twitter can be a really, really horrible place to be. But Tuesday night was not one of those times. It was an absolute pleasure. And it's bizarre, really, and I don't really get it because I don't understand why we've become Derby County's villains. I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, it's not as though their biggest rivals, Nottingham Forest, are doing particularly well. You know, those are 2 clubs that are scrapping at the wrong end of the table. And yet we seem to have attracted all the dislike and hatred of quite a number of Derby County fans, which to be honest, is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great that we must not be as small a club as we think, Ben. If we can get under people's skin like that.
Yeah, I think commentators said it yesterday as a joke, didn't they? Even commentators said that he had sprinklers on, but I don't get it either. Are Forest and Derby like close
big rivals?
Are they
huge? Yeah.
So, I don't know.
They play for a trophy, Ben. Did you know? Every time Derby and Forest play each other, they play for the Brian Clough Trophy.
Really?
Trivia for you. Anybody's listening that
they actually have a proper trophy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Google it.
Is that not,
anyway,
is that legal? That with football rules?
I mean, it's just to Here you go. That's all it is. I don't think there's any
Anybody else wants to be involved, do they?
No.
That's cool.
But it's the only thing that Derby County are going to win this season. I think it's fair to say.
I think so, yeah.
And then, so to be fair, a massive amount of credit to Rotherham United and Derby County for getting the game on the day after.
Yeah.
I've never seen that other than international football. I've never seen in club football a game get rearranged for the day after. I can't think of an occasion.
No, I can't either.
So hats off to both clubs for willing to do it.
Well, I said it on I can't remember. I think it was the postponement live that we did. They weren't discussing the pitch. They were discussing when they're going to fit it in with schedule. There's no way that pitch inspection took more than 30 seconds.
Yeah,
We've gone out and seen puddles everywhere. There's no inspection needed. They were just discussing when they can fit it in, I think.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yesterday, we're probably the best place. Because you can't fit it in the season. It's the shortest month. We've already said we've got 10 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a knock-on effect to us having a shorter gap, and Derby, I assume, having a shorter gap to Saturday. But I suppose that's just the times we're in. It's going to cause that issue.
Yeah.
So the game finally went on. There was nothing, no storm or electrical fault or anything that could stop the third time of the game going ahead. It was the third attempt, having cancelled at Christmas. It was a game of threes. We'll come on to the 3 goals. We won 3 goals.
Yeah.
It's the third time this season we've won by 3 goals to 0. It was third attempt, as we say, playing the game. It was
It's also the third 1965 record that we've broken this season as well.
It is also the third. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true.
Wow.
Exactly. A night of threes.
Yeah.
So the game went ahead. The team was unchanged from the night before. The only difference was that Lewis Wing was involved. So so Johansson was in goal because Blackman is apparently self-isolating. Icky, Wood, and Robertson playing in the back 3. Fantastic to see Robertson back starting a game. Olusuni and Harding is both wing backs. Lindsay, Wiles, Barlaser in the middle. Crooks and Smith up top. And then the bench was the bench. The only interesting part of it was Wing. Wing was on it.
The bench was the bench.
The bench was the bench. Mick, we talked about this a lot. We are very, very big fans. I think I speak for all 3 of us. We are big fans of Clark Robertson. And to see him back in the starting 11 is for him and us. It's fantastic.
Listen, for me, he came in last night and it was like he'd never been away.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it was like he had never been away. He just slotted in. And he just strengthened that back 3 straight away. And I have no issue with Angus MacDonald whatsoever. I know he's been a bit unlucky this season with a couple of the own goals. In my view, it's just pure bad luck. But Clark Robertson is a better player. And he just came in last night with like he'd never been away. It was fabulous to see. Really, really pleased that he's back. And he's not. It's just he's got better. Yeah. He's an experienced player, isn't he? You look at the experience now that's in that back 3. Icky being the least experienced, but probably the best player out of the 3 of them. It's a very, very strong back 3, despite the fact that Woody's in there at 52 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming into his 36th season as a professional footballer, and yet he's still turning it on.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And you don't look at a place, does it? To be fair to Woody, this season has been crazy.
He scored some 8 goals, hasn't he? He's playing like Vardy sometimes. See that finish he did, and he's trying to beat offside trap one time, weren't he?
Yeah.
You're right about appearances, Mick. The back 3 have a combined league appearances of 959 league games.
Yeah, but 800 of them are Woody, aren't they? So.
Well, yeah, nearly 500 are Woodies, to be fair, yeah. But yeah, and that's what's put us in good stead. We've got 3 clean sheets out of the last 4 games.
Yeah.
This season, we look really comfortable at back there. Let's go on to the game now. There was Lee Gregor had a chance just before we get 1-0 up, but other than that, we looked fairly comfortable at back.
I said that I've said this so many times, but we said at the start of the season, Mick predicted we're going to finish 6th. sixth. Our defence is a big part of that. We've looked. I think 4 clean sheets in last how many games?
3 in the last 4.
That's ridiculous. If you take our last 10 games, right?
Yeah.
And you base the league off our last 10 games, I bet we're sitting at playoffs or something. Surely, got to be.
I think we're 11 over the last 6 games of the form table. I think we're about 11th.
We've got for a team that's fighting relegation. That's what we did under Warnock. We weren't on runs that we did under Warnock. We're playing so well. The defence is good. It's just such a good team. I don't think there's any way we're going to go down.
Well, and also that form table, Ben, that includes, you would take the last 6 games in the form table normally. That includes the Barnsley game, which we all know what happened, and Blackburn, which was middle of December, which we ended up losing 2-1. So if you take away those last 2, if we have a good next couple of good games in terms of form, it puts you right up there.
If you take away the Swansea game, what are we unbeaten in? Is it 3 or 4? Take away the Swansea game, which they were really good. They were a good side.
1, 2, 3. Just 3.
Doesn't matter. Unbeaten in 3 is good for down.
But they're wins.
Yeah.
Other than Stoke.
4 wins in 3 wins in 4 games, is it? 2 of them are 3.
Yeah, I think it's 2. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that, like you say, we're 11th in form table is a massive difference. And the other key, which we talked about last night after the game, is that what we've done when we've gone down before. We've never beaten the team around us, and that's vital. That's vital to survival. And we've beaten every one of them so far, with the exception of Birmingham. Now who've come into it, we're making a late bid for relegation. We drew with them. We should have beaten them. So we drew with Forest. They should have beaten us, to be fair. But
we're unlucky to lose QPR.
We haven't lost to any of the bottom 4 or 5.
Take away that Messi or whatever he was called, Samuel, weren't it? You take away him, we wouldn't have lost that game. He was such a good player. Wow.
Fenerbahce can find that out now because he won't be playing when he comes down to New York in a week's time only. So
no, absolutely not. So the game itself. It was a very bitty game, Ben. It was very, very up until the first goal. It was very, very low quality from both teams, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a relegation game.
It did look a bit like that, yeah.
Until whenever we scored, 70th minute was it? 60th minute. It was awful. And then when we scored, we dominated them.
Yeah.
The confidence was ridiculous. It wasn't even a good goal. It was just an English goal, weren't it? You don't really, you know what I mean? It was just an England goal. And then we just come into another goals were really good goals. We just need that one bit of confidence, and we've got so much at the minute. I think the loss against Swansea might have hit him a little bit, but 2-3-0 wins. Oh wow! When you're down there, 2-3-0 wins in space of 3 games. It's so good for your confidence.
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah, Icky got the first one. It was a ball over the top from Harding from a free kick. And I know me and Mick, we already spoke about this. As soon as the ball went in, I thought, oh, God, it's straight into keeper's hands, this.
Yeah,
and then Smithy heads it on, you go, oh, Icky's a mile offside. And then it goes in and everybody goes off celebrating. And like, brilliant, yeah.
Yeah. I was still, even when ball it back at net, I was still cursing free kick from Wes Harding. I thought, well, he's just over it, this.
Yeah.
And I think goalkeeper felt the same as well because he started to come for it. Then but it was a really cool finish, finish from Icky.
Very much so. It was Icky's 15th goal of his career, which for a defender in 200 odd appearances, not bad to be fair.
No.
Second of the season for him. Smith with an assist. It was a lovely flick on Ben. It was very much a glancing flick behind him, wasn't it?
Oh, perfect, weren't it? It was literally perfect. Straight on Icky's foot.
Yeah.
Smith has got so good at what he does now. He's really coming into his prime, and he's been so good this season at everything. Not even just scoring, he's even doing the big man stuff well.
Yeah,
he is absolutely, and that brings us perfect onto the second goal of the night, which came from Matt Crooks.
Yeah,
Matt Crooks gets the ball on the left hand side, drives with it, finds him. As soon as he got himself in the box, that were almost it because the defenders can't touch him because he'll go down.
Yeah.
And then the ball into Smith, and they've touched for the finish by Smith. were just brilliant. It was just so good.
Yeah.
I had a nice little celebration to that one.
Yeah, they run across the defender as well from Smith.
Yeah.
Really intelligent play from both of them. And to be fair, it was a really good pass to play Crooksy in from young Giles. A kind of a 1-2. And it just Giles just found Crooksy in absolute acres of space down that left hand side. And as soon as that ball went through to him, you just knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And happened, it did. It was a great finish, like you said.
Yeah, so it's Smith's 7th goal of the season, which, bear in mind, he got 8 last year in the Championship. It's fantastic. It's his 30th league goal for the Millers in 122 games, which is not outstanding, but it's not terrible, to be fair. And it was his 350th league career game. We haven't mentioned on the preview show, at the age of, 29, he could easily go and get another 350 games. Hopefully many of those for us, and the continued same form he's in at the minute, because he looks fantastic at the minute. I'm really enjoying watching Smithy play. And then the 3rd goal, Giles with his 2nd goal in only his 3rd game for the Millers, having not started yet. He just picked the ball up. He's one of those players, Ben, that he's got echoes of a very old-fashioned winger, where he just wants the ball and he just wants to go. Yeah.
It was, and don't say this, it was a Messi type goal. You do see Messi scoring it. Just stride on his left foot, low and across keeper. It was one of them finishes where you don't expect it. Every time Rotherham have had a player that's on wing like that, you just expect, up in air, straight at keeper, get a corner. But it was I didn't expect it. It was such a good finish. So powerful, so composed. Wow, what a play we've got there. It
were better than his Middlesbrough one, weren't it? This was a much better finish.
Well, he won at Middlesbrough.
A bit of luck.
To be fair. Yeah. Deflected and through keeper's legs. Probably going wide in first place. But yeah. If he can, if we can get him on loan again next year, that'd be ridiculous.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's try and stay up first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's important to get loan players working. I spoke to Craig Rocastle, who is a former Wednesday player, about loans, and he sort of said that when people go on loan, there's a lot of pressure on loan players, because you don't bring a loan player in to develop them in. The loan player's there to be good there and then. So if they have a slow start to their loan spell, it can be quite difficult. And Giles has completely hit the ground running, which builds up his confidence. And
we saw this
go anywhere this end of the season.
We saw this last season, at the beginning of last season, with Dan Barlaser, didn't we? We as a set of supporters, we're getting a Newcastle midfielder on loan. This boy's going to set world alight, and he didn't. He didn't to start with. He really struggled to get into the swing of League One, and people got on his back.
Did they?
People got on his back a lot to start with, but then obviously he came into his own. But it took some time for him to settle in. I thought that discussion with Craig Rocastle was really interesting from that point of view. It's well worth a listen. I know the Monkeys definitely, even though it was kind of Wendy's related. It was interesting to listen to him about the way he was at Chelsea and everything else. So, like you said, coming in from a big club like Chelsea or like Newcastle or Wolves, into a team like this, it can have its issues. But he's got off to an absolute flyer, hasn't
he? Yeah, absolutely. And he's not even started a game yet. With 3 games in, he's not started, and he's looked fantastic in all 3 games. But he doesn't start, Ben, because you can't really drop Matt Alasunde if he's fit, and you can't really drop Wed Harding, because Wed Harding, they've both been Mr. Consistent over the past month.
Wed Harding, who's that?
Wed Harding, yeah.
New signing.
Where's his twin brother?
I think if he does start, obviously I'm playing in front of Wed Harding on the left, because obviously left foot. I don't think you can drop on a Sunday. I think Harding is probably the weaker of the two. Obviously, that might just be me.
In the wing-back position.
Yeah, in the wing-back. Well, yeah. All right, whatever. In the wing-back position and all the positions, on a Sunday is better than it. So I think you'd probably have to drop Harding. But you don't look too defensive, Giles. And
Yeah.
you don't want all Sundays are very attacking. Well, not very, but he can attack. He likes to attack. I don't think it's a bit of an imbalance, isn't it?
There were a couple of times last night when he first came on, he got caught out, didn't he? The winger got past him on 2 consecutive occasions, and in fact, one of the one was to let the legend that is Lee Gregory not hit a barn door with a shovel. So.
But if you remember when Olusunde first came, he had major defensive problems, and defensively, Olusunde is a different player now to when he came. He's still got issues. It's not the finished product yet. But that's obviously the idea with Giles, is to utilise his attacking sense from a wing-back point of view, but hopefully to improve his defence. Maybe that might be why he's not started at the games yet, because you can't quite trust him in a full 90 minutes to be defensive. But then at the same time, it's difficult to drop Olusunde and Harden, because I thought they were both outstanding again. We're live on YouTube. Ethan is Polish, has got in touch asking who our man of the match was for yesterday. It's a very, very tough one. It's a tough one because it wasn't an outstanding performance up until the goal, but then from the goal, it was a superb performance. So it's difficult to pick one out.
You've got that game for me on 74 minutes. You're thinking, you know what? They could come along and nick this. Lee Gregory's just, like I said, just missed a barn door with his shovel, and you're thinking we could go and nick. And then at 90 minutes plus, we're thinking only 3. We could have had 5.
We could have
easily had 5.
Yeah.
You know, in that last 15 minutes, and Derby must worry about coming to New York Stadium, not for the first 70 or 80 minutes, but for the last 10 minutes, because they just get battered every time, don't they?
Yeah.
That's the second time on trot, I think. On trot.
Yeah. Not trot, no, because we beat 1-0 under
No, I mean,
County.
Oh, of course we did, yeah. Frank Lampard. I forgot about Frank and his long grass, as opposed to winning his wet grass. Sorry, what question?
Who man of the match?
Oh, right. Are you asking me?
Yes. Well, you're talking, so.
I'll carry on. Crooks.
Okay.
For me, I don't think. I mean, he was outstanding last night. He was back to it. Last night, he reached that pinnacle where he sort of left off last season. I thought he was outstanding. But there were some close. There were quite a few that ran a sort of kind of a close second. But no, Crooksy for me.
There was somebody that tweeted it out, and I can't find it, so apologies if you're listening and you're thinking it was you that tweeted it, saying that at the minute when Crooks gets going, then is looking like one of the best midfielders in the division, Crooks.
Well, we said this last season at the start, he was not even getting in the team.
And rightly so and all.
Yeah, rightly so. I think it was probably the first time, though, that you didn't see him in the starting 11 since he signed. Because he come in like a, you know what I mean, he come in, hit it ground running, and then never left the team.
He hit that Leeds player first with that tackle, and then hit the ground.
He's been ridiculous. The second goal was summed it up. From the right hand side defensively, all the way to the left side attacking. That's just, it's what you want, isn't it? For such a big lad, he's very good. He can be very technical for a good lad.
Very technical.
I mean, he's
I'm
not.
going to throw a theoretical out for you. We're going to say worst case scenario. Let's say we get relegated, which means the chances are Crooks will leave. Rightly so, because he's a championship player. What's your price tag, Ben? For Matt Crooks, if we're relegated, he's got at least 1 year in his contract, maybe an extension. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, he has got an extension, so 2 more years in his contract. Where would you put Matt Crooks' price tag?
Realistically, or what?
Realistically,
I'd say 4 or 5 million. Is what I think we would get. What I want is obviously 10 million. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sammy Watkins type money. But I think realistically, for cause we're not one to sell big. Obviously, Ajayi went for 2 million, and he went
basically.
So I think it'd be 4 or 5 million, or 3 or 4 million, but with a clause in like Ajayi, because we've got like a 50% or 40-30% on Ajayi. Something like that with add-ons like $1 million and stuff like that, which is better than getting money up front, in my opinion. So I think it'd be 3 or 4, but with very good terms on the deal. I think
that's fair. Mick, you about the same, or I assume you think a bit more?
No, I think that's about right. I think that's about fair. It'd be interesting to see what happens to Semi this year when West Brom come down, because I think they will. It sounds, from what I understand, that he's probably been their player of the season, despite the fact that they're shipping goals.
Yeah.
I see him getting a move, and I'll be honest with you, I'll probably see him getting a move back to Arsenal. I think that's
I was just about to say that. If they buy him for 20 million, how much money do we get? You know what I mean? We'll be laughing. How much money would we get?
It's rumoured to be around 50%. I think it'll be slightly less than that, I would imagine.
If they sell him for 20 million, we're at minimum probably 6-7 million. I'd say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
20 million.
So last season we were supporting West Brom so that they got promoted, so we got some money for Ajay.
Yeah.
Now we really want West Brom to get relegated, so we can hopefully get some money for him.
The thing is, if they do go down and he gets a move, that's best case scenario that we could have possibly dreamed of when he sold it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's just it's interesting. Even if we stay up, there's a chance Crooks might go because someone comes in with money. It's the nature of being a club like Rotherham United.
Yeah. Of course it is, absolutely.
Chris Wright also on YouTube. How Mardy are Derby fans? I'm fed up of sending them texts with smiley faces today.
Listen, Chris, you're doing everybody a favour, mate. It's like a public service. We all really appreciate it, and we all really appreciate your hard work in trying to keep people away from knife draw, essentially. It's great work, pal. Great work. Well done.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning. They mentioned this before. The last 3 games that Derby had played, they'd won 1-0. And I saw a stat earlier, Ben, saying something along the lines of there's only Manchester City in the country that have a better defensive record, had a better defensive record than Derby County. So to go stick 3 past them is fantastic. How?
They were awful. Do you know we scored 1?
Yeah.
I think probably the game, the first 70 whatever minutes it was, 70-something minutes, they were
4, yeah.
Right, they were all right. Once you get 1, you get 4, get 3. Do you know what I mean? We could, like you said, we could have had 5. How they've got the best defensive record in the country, is it, or second?
I think it's over the last 10 games or so.
Last game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe that. They were awful at back. I believe Swansea, because they were rigid and solid, good defensively at back, and we did well to score past them.
True.
But, wow. They were awful.
Yeah, talking of awful, if you've not seen this, then I also don't know where you've been. In Wayne Rooney's post-match interview, he accused Tony Stewart, of showing a lack of respect towards, I assume, himself and Derby County. By effectively either swearing or shouting or singing, or whatever it was. It all seems very petty, but this is the man who complained about his fans booing him at the World Cup in 2010. So I suppose it's what you expect from somebody. Do you know if he doesn't like it now when there's no fans in? What's it going to be like when there were 11,000 Rotherham fans calling him, whatever? You know what I mean? I don't.
For a man who is probably regarded as one of the best England footballers I've seen.
Best of a generation.
Best of a generation. At his peak, probably should have won a major tournament internationally. For a man who's competed at that level for a long time, very long time, he doesn't understand the concept of sports, or does he? Competitiveness. Sports says, "Oh, here you go, mate. He doesn't know playing football in England. I mean, not croquet. Realise what sport he's in, doesn't he? In what country? I don't get it. In the lower league as well. It's not even like it's the gentleman's. It's championship. It's hardly. You know what I mean? It's hardly. I don't even know. I don't know. I have to explain it.
It's somebody who doesn't know how to lose very well. And Tony Stewart's in his talk with Paul Davis from Advertiser. They said some people are good winners, some people are bad winners, and I think this one falls into the latter category. Yeah.
The thing is, Wayne Rooney is probably not as stupid and thick as people like to make out that he is, because this is a classic Alex Ferguson deflection tactic. isn't it? He knows that by making those accusations, that the press are going to pick up on it, that it's going to get into the newspapers, it's going to get on the telly, it's been mentioned on BBC, it's been mentioned all over the internet, and it deflects away from the dire performance of his football team and the dire result that they had, and the fact that they're in the bottom 3 of the division, the fact that they can't afford to pay the players, the fact that they've got absolutely zero class at the moment for that very reason, the way that the club is run, it appears from the outside. I'm not saying that that is the case, but it certainly appears that way from the outside. It's got to try and deflect, some of the attention away from it. So yeah, it's classic. It's classic Fergie. And yeah, unfortunately, Wayne, it didn't work, because if you look at bottom right hand corner of the inside page of the newspapers, under the football results heading, it still says Rotherham United 3, Derby County 0, and it'll say that forever now. Unfortunately, pal. So it is what it is. One more thing I'd like to pick up on yesterday's game and some of the comments that I've seen. I'm a little bit confused. Okay, and
you're going to complain about the referee?
No.
Okay.
I'll throw this out to anybody that's watching live on YouTube at the moment. Beginning of the season, we had a lot of Rotherham United supporters telling us that you don't win things with nice human beings. You're too soft. You're too this. We're too that. We're just too nice with people. Paul Warne's too nice. That's what I was hearing. Okay. What I'm also reading when we look at the opposition supporters, that we're aggressive, we're bullies, we're nasty, we just play dirty football. Now I'm a bit confused, because we've got extremes here. All right, we've got nice human beings. That's clear. You'll read that letter from Jamie Proctor today. We've got nice human beings at our football club, and yet we still seem to be able to bully teams like Derby and other teams in this division. So which is it? Are we bullies? Are we too nice? Or are we just on top form? Are we banging goals in for fun? And looking like we're going to, at the moment, start to pull away from the danger that we're in. I would say it's always when you get to extremes like that, to extremes of opinion, it's always somewhere in the middle. And that's where we sit in it, and that's where we're going to sit, and that's where the vast majority of right-minded Rotherham United fans think that we are. We're somewhere in the middle. We're good enough to stay in this division. We can bully people when we want to, and we can play football when we want to. So,
what you tend to find with sportsmen, and it is unique to sport, is that the best sportsmen can be so-and-so's on the pitch. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Well, you have
to be
to
horrible,
be,
dirty, this, that, and other. But when you get them away from it, they turn out to be this lovely, fantastic person.
You look at people like Michael Jordan and people like this. When he's on court, he's full on. You should see the pictures of him sweating that head to his toe. You know what I mean? On talk shows now, it looks like an all right bloke. Do you know what I mean? You have to change that mentality. Every great player can do that. That's why they're great.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not saying we're great, but I think that's the aim of what Paul Warne tries to do. Is tries to get good people away from the pitch. They need to be together. They need to be a great bunch of lads, but at the same time, they need to be able to get in there with opposition. And I think at the minute we've got a good mix of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Ben, you didn't give me a man of match for yesterday.
Smith.
I think that's a good shout. They could be linked up fantastic well again, them two.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anything else you want to cover? Have I missed anything else from the Derby game? I feel like lots has happened.
I'm bored with it.
Worth mentioning, Lewis Wing came on the 68th minute, St. Paul's Rouse. He didn't do anything particularly special, but it was very energetic, ran around a lot, played a bit deeper than I thought.
I mean, we talked about Freddie on post one, didn't we? So,
if you have anything new or nice to say, don't say anything else.
If we talk about Freddie on the post one, I'm not going to say it again.
Good. Because we've had complaints about you being mean to Freddie, and I agree with him, to be honest.
It's not mean. It's expectations for a professional footballer, but whatever.
Anyway, let's move
I
on.
think those expectations sit with everybody, don't they? They sit with the whole squad. You know what I mean?
Well, certain positions, but and it's not.
Yeah.
We're going to an old ground, so let's not. Well, before we move on to the Preston game, Mick's already alluded to it, but Jimmy Proctor obviously left on deadline day for Wigan, and it released a very, very nice statement through the official website, basically thanking everybody, even though he's probably only played 20 games, something like that. It feels like he's been quite a big part of the club over the past couple of years, certainly up until the first season, even though it wasn't available. And that goal he scored against Sheffield United to make it 2-2.
Yeah.
You know. It's a shame for Proctor because them first 4 or 5 games in League One, him and Kiefer Moore looked absolutely frightening together.
We got like 3-5-0, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous.
Bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was such a shame that he did his cruise ship, but that's football. It can happen at any time, and certain players are unlucky with time, and that's been the case with Proctor. I really, really hope it works out for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He seems a really, really nice guy. And summed up by his letter today, so I think he speaks for us three and I'm sure all of the United fans in best wishes to Proctor, and I hope you bang in loads of goals for the rest of the season and beyond.
Absolutely.
So Derby County 3-0 win. Preston North End come up on Saturday. We are going away to Deepdale. It will be our 60th meeting between the two clubs. We are unbeaten in the last 4, all getting all competitions. But we haven't won away in Preston since 2002, Boxing Day 2002, when Mark Robbins and Richie Barker scored with a 2-0 win. But as we know, Mick, this is the year to break those records. Yeah,
it is, absolutely. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. It's going to be a tough game. They've done a lot of business in transfer window at Preston. I've no idea who they've bought. I'm sure they've spent loads of money and bought loads of people that, a championship class, because it seems that they've been up here a while, and then they've got that. They can attract players of that quality, can't they? They've pushed and pushed for the playoffs basically since they've been up there. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really tough game. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But I think you'll probably go on to this point of the home form's not being great, and we did them at our place, so there's no reason why we can't go there and do them there as well, because we're playing a lot better now than we were then.
Yeah, we are, definitely. Their home form mix right there is 19th in the form table, for home form, whereas their away form is the 4th best in the entire division. So that's exactly where they sit there. I think when we played them at our place, that was their first time they'd lost away from home in the entire season. So that was like end of October, I think. So
that was the turning point, I think, in our season.
Potentially. I think you might be right. Yeah, it was the moment Flojo had. That is his only moment.
It was our first real important win that got us a bit of confidence, weren't it? Because we were struggling a bit.
Yeah. And it's when Crooks scored his first league goal of the season, and he started to look like he was sort of getting back to himself. It was a good moment. They have only won 1 of their last 6 games in all competitions, Preston, and that was a 1-0 win away to Birmingham. Birmingham have the worst away record in the division. So in that time, they lost 1-0 at Sheffield Wednesday and 1-0 at home to Nottingham Forest.
Wow. Wait, come here. You look. Wow.
They also lost 4-1 to Wycombe Wanderers in the FA Cup. So
yeah, they probably play under 9s, but Wednesday were one of the worst teams I've seen in a long time. League-wise. What?
They've picked up the Piggies.
I suppose, right? Forest, they were good when we played them. They're not. They're 20th. They're clearly not, you know what I mean? Hardly Barcelona. To lose 1-0 to Wednesday, though, this is going to be an exciting game. I don't get how the home form is extremely more worse than that's not even a word, is it? But worse than the away form. Really, the imbalance is weird because there's no fans. So what? I don't know. Wow.
Don't know, mate.
That's that all the time. It should be balanced.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting to see the team line up. I'm not sure how we're going to line up. It's a shortened break. All of Sundays came off twice in a row, so it wouldn't surprise me if we rest all of Sunday. But if we rest all of Sunday, that works fine because instead of bringing Giles on at 70th minute, you just bring Matt Sunday on at 70th minute.
Yeah.
So it's still a fantastic weapon. Flojo will be back on bench because obviously he was ineligible against Derby. At some point in the near future, sadly, we'll be back on the bench. Now, when that's going to be, I don't know. Hopefully it's this weekend, but we don't know.
Yeah, well, we should be playing Saturday, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let it go, Ben. Come on.
John Esson again on YouTube with other teams winning around us. We need to win and hope Birmingham don't. Our recent points per game is looking very good. In midweek. So Wednesday won, we won, Forest won, QPR won in midweek. And there are only Wickham and Birmingham that didn't win. I think I'm pretty sure it's because they didn't play.
Yeah, I don't think they did. But like I said earlier on, Birmingham are making a late bid for relegation, aren't they? And there's always a team sooner or later, every season that sort of makes that late bid, isn't there?
In fact, Wickham did play. They drew 0-0 with Birmingham.
That's right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, but the point, as we made already earlier on, John, that we are beating the teams around us.
Yes,
and that's key. That is absolutely key. So, I'll stop talking about that now, shall I? I've said it about 4 times. I've found a point that I know. Got to prove.
Yeah.
Hey.
So there's not really much more to mention about the game itself. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. We'll come on to team score predictions, I suppose. Ben, thoughts on team lineup? Do you think we'll see a little bit of change? Wing might come in, I suppose. What do you think?
I think all of Sunday's got to come out. I think he looks knackered. He looks knackered. A lot of them do. I think Crooks probably does. I think
Crooks looks knackered all the time, though.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think Smithy probably deserves rest, but he won't go down with that. You know what I mean? He'll probably start scrapping before he gets part of the team. And I think Giles should start with Overall Sunday, like you said, and swap then.
And then we'll harden across.
Yeah, the Crooks and Wing, I'd start Crooks and at half time. Obviously, no, I mean, I'm not a manager, I've never been a manager, but I'd have a word with him if feeling it and he thinks that, he's really pushing it, just rest him.
Yeah.
I mean, 23 games left at the season. You know what I mean? Next game, it's not win, stay up, lose, go down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Think about long term. So. And
you've got to bear in mind, we are meant to be playing Saturday, Tuesday next week, but having looked at the forecast for early next week, there's a decent chance.
It's the Cardiff game as well, isn't it? It's going to be for that. Wow.
And we won't be able to rearrange Derby games that day after because they're not going to just drive back up from Cardiff, are they? Although the forecast keep changing its mind, but if it's as bad as what it could be, then there ain't going to be a game on Tuesday. But let's wait and see.
Well, it's going to snow Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it keeps changing though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, yeah.
Michael, would you like to give us our first score prediction for Saturday?
Oh, no.
Okay.
One apiece. I would be very. I just can't see us going there and getting anything out of the game other than a draw at best. I don't know why. I think it's just probably because of our past record at Deepdale and the times that I've been and I've never enjoyed it. I don't like it. So I'm going for a draw. I'd like to think I'm being optimistic at that.
Do you know like that time when Mabel scored that toe poke?
That was good.
Yeah, all right then.
But then you scored one of the best goals I've ever seen live. Apart from the Bells, the next game. 2 games later.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wednesday, Saturday does not suit us at all. I much prefer to play Saturday, Tuesday than Saturday, Wednesday. Ben,
when's good?
You go, mate.
I was going to say when's Good Friday because I don't know what that's going to do to Monday, Wednesday schedule. Is Monday Good Friday in February or is that just me being an idiot?
April. That's me being an idiot. We play Millwall on Good Friday and Wickham at home on Easter Monday. So Easter's massive. But that's way down the line, that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's hope that lockdown by then. But a score prediction, I think 1-0 win. 1-0 win or 1-0 loss. I think it's going to be a 1-0. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals. So I say that. I think 1-0 to one of the teams.
Fair enough.
I'm going to go 2-1 loss. I can't. Again, I'm similar with Mick. I can't see us getting it. This is the Wednesday Saturday thing that's going to kill us, if anything. The difference now compared to literally 2 weeks ago is that we do have options that we can change it up.
Yeah.
If we need to take Crooks out, we've got Win we can put in there. If we need to take all of Sunday out, we can put Giles in. If we need to drop one at back three, we've got McDonald we can put in there. We've got different options for the first time. Literally the first time this season, we've got options. You can even change Smith if you. I wouldn't do that. But you could always change Smithy out. You could give Hurst a go. You give Freddie a go. But then you wouldn't drop Smith and Crooks. There's options. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So it's
we're not positive, are we?
No. Liam McGarry thinks we're going to win 1-0 with a Crooks goal. Thanks for getting involved, Liam. God, I hope so. I've said for the last few weeks, wouldn't it be lovely to have a 2-3 goal comfortable win? And we've had two of them recently. So I'm going to say it again. So hopefully it's a good luck charm. I'd love a comfortable, nice easy 3. If we get 3 goals in the first 10 minutes instead of the last 10 minutes, that'd be better. But
I mean, one thing that we always do at games is at corners. I can't remember who's attacking or defending. 1-0. I remember one attacking one. Someone we used to go to games with. I can't remember who that. We might have been there. We had a corner. He went 1-0 here, Ben. I said, "Oh yeah, all right." We went and scored. So he said it every time we had a corner. So he stopped me to games with us.
We're doing defensive ones now. Whenever it's a defensive corner, it's just if it's 0-0, go 1-0 here, Ben, or whatever.
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, I thought about it the other day.
Well, don't think about it because it means you think about going ground, and we're not going to get to see the inside of that this season, are we? So,
well, me and Mick went down with our walk. I think, do you know the rumours about us having one of our games back to the thing?
Preston, yeah.
It was true because they had sanitising things. They had rules saying please wear your masks and all that, didn't they, Mick?
I'll
makes it even more. Yeah, it makes it even more sour, but isn't it?
Who knows? Who knows? This time next month, a month is a long time in the world at the minute. So who knows? We can dream. If we get back in for the last 3 or 4 home games of the season.
Well, I said to Mick, obviously, this is going to, but if they vaccinate a lot of people, they could, like everything best case scenario. Summer goes well in that. Could have everyone back in next first game at next season.
Oh yeah.
Imagine.
I'll be honest. If we're not all back in full stadiums by August, I'll be quite disappointed.
Yeah. If I would take none of us going this season, no one, to then everybody going, you know what I mean, next season. Well, imagine the atmosphere in that place.
Yeah.
Wow. It'd be absolutely rocking.
Wow.
We're going to finish with another prediction. Jamie 2-0, Lindsay and Smith. On that, Lindsay should have scored last night. That chance in the first half.
Yeah.
But other than that, Lindsay were outstanding again. We could name all 11 players. It was a really good performance, a solid performance until the goals. Then it was a very good performance. So that's all we're going to do. Thank you everybody for listening and watching on YouTube. We've now passed 100 subscribers on YouTube, which is fantastic for some crappy little podcast that we do about Rotherham United. So thank you.
And bearing in mind we're a tin pot club, we are as well.
Exactly.
You know, it's just amazing.
Maybe we could chip in for sprinkles next time. Then now we've got
Yeah, let's do it. If you haven't, or if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube and you're not subscribed, just click the subscribe button in the bottom corner of your screen, somewhere down there, and just show if you want to. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. We've got like 600-700 people, nearly 600, over 600 people on Facebook now. So it's we do really appreciate that. We will at some point get some merchandise out. Mick is a big fan of the teams like Rotherham shirts and a couple of mugs that we might get out of some point soon. Have you seen that Brighton have started doing that and all? Teams like Brighton.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I have to be honest, and obviously, I mean, this hashtag isn't mine. Somebody else thought of it before I did. But I used to love after games trolling through Twitter, finding teams like Rotherham and retweeting it. I can't find an original one now.
Yeah. It's just really getting a bit annoying because you can't find one that you can retweet.
I'm having to spanner a few in now to don't actually say teams like Rotherham, but kind of mean it.
Yeah. So yeah, keep those going. And Jamie's on YouTube. Thinks we've got good channels and just keep it up. Cheers, mate. We do really appreciate it. Everybody's watching the YouTube and listens to the podcast. We do really appreciate it. Feel free to get involved in any way, shape, or form, whether it's through social media or through emails, or if you know one of us, just message us about whatever. And hopefully we'll see each other very, very soon in person, and then everything will be better. But that's
we're good. Yeah. Hopefully, we could do some watch-alongs, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. I will look at doing that. So, thank you, Mick. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Benjamin.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everybody, for watching, for getting involved. And we'll see you all on. Sorry, I know we're going to wrap up. We're going to live pre-match and live post-match for Preston, which is on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And then the podcast will be out Monday morning to review the Preston game and preview the Cardiff game. And yeah, anything else? I'm sure I forgot something, but I'll just tell you next time. So cheers for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Pringle looking towards Odegaard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not